All right, here we go again. Another one. Yeah, oh, nosedive, serious crash. This video is gonna be your ultimate guide to the Arrma Gorgon. How's it going, everyone? I'm Greg with RC Driver. If you're new to RC, new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our RC content. Now, the Arrma Gorgon is an exciting looking two-wheel drive brushed electric monster truck ready for some off-road action, but they've got a couple different models for you to select from, and that's what we're gonna go over in today's video. I'm gonna talk about the ready-to-run version, I'm gonna talk about the kit version, and what might be right for you. I'm also gonna go over the truck itself and talk about its features and design elements. Then we're going to take it out for some off-road action, and I'm going to try it on a LiPo battery and a brushless system. So let's get into it. I'm going to start over here with the ready-to-run version, which costs about $170, and it comes out of the box just like this. It's available in two different colors. I've got the red body set, and then they have the black and green body set available as well, and the plastics are different on the two different versions. Obviously, the red body gets the red plastics, and the black body gets the bright green yellowish plastics on it, which is really cool that they offer those. And then it comes with all the support gear that you're going to need to run it. So if you've never run an RC before, this is an easy way to get up and running. So you're going to get the radio system as well. All the electronics are already installed in the truck. They're going to give you a charger, which is a USB style charger. You're just going to have to find a power supply for this. They give you 4 AA batteries, a bag of basic tools and some shock preload clips, an instruction manual, and then a support card. You could scan a QR code and it will have a bunch of information for you. Now, what's really cool about a ready to run is you just have to go drop in your AA's into the radio system, charge up your battery, and you just go outside and run it. And if you gotta have action now, that is the best route to take for you. They also have a version without the battery packs. I don't have that one here. It's available in a different color as well. I believe that one is blue, and you could go and pick up your own battery and charger for that. Now we can talk about the ready to assemble version, and this one is also $170. And just because it's not built from the factory doesn't mean it should necessarily be cheaper. Someone has to go ahead and bag up all these parts, make sure you got an entire truck in this box, and the cost is actually about the same as someone putting it together. And so that's why the prices are the same. But actually what you get in this build-up kit is a partially assembled truck. All of the hard parts are assembled, like the differential, the shocks, the chassis halves are together, some of the suspension components are together, the axles are partially assembled into the hub carriers, the tires are glued, so there's a lot of the hard stuff already done for you. And yes, you don't get to build that hard stuff, but at least you get the idea of how everything is assembled together. And so if you do need to go and disassemble the truck, let's say for repair, it's a lot easier than taking it apart for the first time. I haven't assembled the kit yet, but I can tell it's pretty easy. They've got a very good instruction manual. It even says on the side of the box that it'll take about an hour to do. So if you've never built anything before, maybe you built some IKEA furniture, maybe it'll take an hour and a half, 2 hours probably max. And the last difference of this kit is everything comes in black. So you've got black plastics, you've got the black painted body, and it does look really cool. Which one's better between the two? Neither. It's just a matter of you're gonna go ahead and assemble this one, or you could go run the ready to run right out of the box. So we're gonna go over the truck's features and design, and I'm mostly gonna talk about the ready to run version here since it's assembled, and some of the stuff that's kind of hidden throughout the truck I'll be able to show you because I've got the kit version. Now, starting off with the truck body, it's got this awesome large SUV, really cool graphics. Love the look of the Gorgon logo. But what I really like about it are there are no visible body clips on the top of the truck. And what they've done here is they've given us a molded grille and a molded plate on the top of the roof and some other plates as well that are hidden by these graphics here that actually are the mounts for the body clip system. And there is a big body clip that's located underneath the truck. It's actually tethered, and there it is, this big silver clip. And what happens is it's got 4 pins that go down into holes in the chassis itself, and then the pin slides in and secures the truck body in place. Pop it off here so you can see the underside. There are those pins and the body mount system, and it looks pretty solid. Pretty weird looking pin, but it looks like it really works well. So with the body off, now we can see the chassis itself, and it's a high CG chassis, so you got a lot of ground clearance. You get long travel shocks, just a really cool monster truck experience. And here's the chassis itself. This is what it looks like in the kit, and it's a pretty solid looking piece. They've got the honeycomb bracing on the inside of it, even a lot of bracing around the transmission part. And if you have been in RC before, you probably noticed that you could drop the differential out of the rear of this truck. You couldn't do that on the previous voltage version, so they definitely improved this. There's actually nothing, I believe nothing shared with the previous voltage version of the Arrma trucks, but this is just a really impressive piece. And looking over this chassis, I'm noticing some extra holes and stuff here, so I'm wondering if they're going to use this chassis for another variation generation of vehicle. Let's take a closer look at some of the other chassis features here. So they've got this large front bumper that integrates into the front skid, and then they've got a rear bumper as well for when you're landing on the rear of this truck. And then the battery tray is located on the bottom. It is just a clip-in tray, and it's got these two little press tabs on the side, and that's how the battery tray drops down. I'm gonna do it, and the battery's probably gonna fall out because it's still in here. Let's see, there we go. Here's the battery pack that it comes with. Actually, both the ready to run and the kit version come with all the electronics and the battery. And then finally, the last thing I wanted to point out about the chassis is the rear section here. They've got a bracket or a mount already molded into the chassis, so you could go and add a fan unit. That is pretty awesome. Okay, so back up front, the bulkhead is obviously integrated into the chassis itself, less parts for you to have to buy. And just the size of the pin area down there, I don't think you're ever going to break a front chassis. If you do, you're a hero. I think the arms are definitely going to go first if you're going to break something, but the arms look really solid themselves too. Really nice design, large plastic sections, and then as you can see, it's got an upper A-arm setup, no adjustable links. You don't have to worry about a link bending or anything like that. And then they have these really solid steering knuckles and caster blocks on the outside. And here's one of the steering knuckles. It's got a dual shear setup for the steering tie rod. As you can see, they've got rubber seal bearings in there, and then 14mm hexes on that axle shaft. So that's a pretty sturdy piece. And then they've got the large bore shocks here, 3mm shock shafts, and then even shaft protectors to help prevent any dirt and grime from getting on that shock shaft. Just help save your shocks a bit longer between rebuilds, and it's super plush, guys. They've got oil in the shocks from the factory. Then I'm going to spin the truck around so you can see the rear suspension setup, just a solid link up top, H-arms on the bottom, and then these really bulky looking hubs. Look at the size of this, dual shear on that as well. They've already gone ahead on the kit version, and they've installed part of the drive shaft. They've got a large bearing and then a rubber seal bearing on the outside, that 14mm hex, but this is a solid looking piece as well, just built for bashing. The shock towers are separate pieces. There's a little bit wider of a shock tower in the rear than in the front, and then the long travel shocks on the rear. They have the shock protectors as well. Now, actually, let's talk about the drivetrain on this. Let me spin it back around, and it's all integrated inside the chassis itself. So this is a monocoque style chassis. I'll grab the kit version here, and as you can see, they've already got a gear inside this kit version. They've got some massive gears on the inside, and the more surface area you have on that gear face, on that tooth face, the less chance you're going to break some teeth off of this. But here's the rest of the gears, and in the kit version, this is how the differential comes. It's already assembled. There's metal gears on the inside of this. It's packed with grease. It's got seals on it, and then the large ball bearings, and then these new drive shafts. Big, heavy duty, universal style drive shafts, large yokes on it. So that looks like it's a much more durable setup than what we were used to seeing on the last two-wheel drive model from Arrma. And then look at the spur gear assembly. So this actually has an aluminum upper top shaft gear on it, red anodized gear, and seal ball bearings as well, and then a slipper clutch. They've got their fiberglass pad in there, and then this is the slipper adjustment nut on the outside, so you can go and adjust the tension on that, and that all slides together, and you've got a really solid looking drivetrain on this, and you could go and adjust your gear ratios as well. They've got a gear cover on the side that protects your gearing, and then I noticed they even have a little, looks like a drain hole, so if any dirt or water gets inside this gear cover, it will drain out through that bottom hole. Finally, we can get to the electronics. They've got a standard Spectrum servo up front. I like the redesign that they did to the servo saver on here. It looks a lot more stout than what we've seen before, and then solid links out to the wheels. The speed controller is actually a 2-in-1 unit, so it's got the receiver in it as well. This is it right here from the kit version. It's from Spectrum, and it's a 30 amp ESC. It's got an IC3 connector on it and simple bullet plugs, and plug in the 550 size motor. It's actually a 14 turn motor, so this should give you plenty of power and torque right out of the box. Finally, the wheels and tires. It's a Chevron style tire, no insert on the inside, super soft, at least it's vented so it doesn't bounce around. And then they have the smaller outer diameter and larger inner diameter wheel setup. There's that 14mm hex. It's got a good look to that wheel, doesn't it? Here's a couple other parts that I wanted to show you on the kit version. So here is the shock absorber, and it is filled with oil from the factory, so you don't have to worry about bleeding that. Here's one of the suspension arms. As you can see, part of it is already assembled, so it makes your assembly job a whole lot easier. And then here's that rear transmission dropout plate that's also the pivot block. So it's really easy to get to that differential. This is a really solid piece. And then you can see they actually have an aluminum bar in the back. So when you come down on the rear it doesn't pull this rear suspension pin out of this carrier, and it keeps everything nice and solid. I love the look of this truck. It's perfect for the entry-level crowd. I think those that are into RC and want to add another truck to their collection, they're going to be happy with it. Let's go outside and see how it performs. We're going to start the fun off with some speed testing since the trucks are fresh. I got freshly charged packs in them, and this has the stock 7-cell pack, so let's see how fast it goes. Get the app set up, hit track, start, and here we go, guys. First power through the truck. Actually, I ran it a little bit on the workbench just to see the motor brushes, spun it around, and here we go. Wow, didn't even need to trim the steering out of the box. That's pretty quick on 7-cell. Yeah, all right. Good start. Let's see what we got here. Stop, read, 25 miles an hour. You know what? I'm pretty happy with that speed for this truck. So here's the kit version that I built up, and I have a 2S LiPo battery pack in it, and luckily the speed controller is LiPo ready. You just have to move over the little cutoff tab inside the speed controller so it has the right battery cutoff voltage to it, and we're gonna see how fast this goes. Start. Here we go. Looking good. Trim is pretty good. Turn around, and here we go. Sounds like it's got a little bit more. Whoa. Yep. Under braking roll it this time. That's a good looking truck. I like it in black. All right, here we go. Stop. 26 miles an hour. That's pretty interesting considering the LiPo battery has a little bit less voltage than the nickel metal hydride pack, but still, that's a really good speed either way. That was pretty awesome. Let's head to the skate park next. Well guys, I just finished up my close-up shots, and this thing is so much fun. I've been beating it up on this concrete course, and other than the plush suspension, you gotta watch it just rolling through the corners. It is absolutely killer. Whoa, look at that. Wow. Off the big tabletop? Yeah. A little bit of wheelie action. Oh, right onto the flat. Off the big bump, full throttle. Look at that. The suspension soaks up most of that. And it's pretty light. So if you're gonna go big air with it, add a little heavier oil and you're good to go. Around the quarter bowl here. Yeah. Love how the suspension just compresses through there. See if I get a rail slide in here. Nope, but that was pretty cool. You know what? I really want to send it off this thing. Let's do it. Whoa. Oh, major hit in the front. Oh, we moved the motor on it. Of course, my tools are back at the car, so I'm going to go fix it and we'll head over to the dirt lot. All right guys, I'm at my dirt parking lot here, my hopefully temporary bashing spot since I lost my other spots. And I've got some jumps set up, and this thing is a lot of fun. Just like in the skate park, a little loose in the rear because, you know, we're on some loose dirt and gravel, but it's still a blast. Watch this. Of course we gotta blast through the loose sand, right? Yeah, look at that. Yeah, that looks sick with the sand coming off the rear of the tires. Let's go for another jump here. Roll into it, and yeah, let off the throttle on the landing. It settles right in. I love it when it goes into the corner off power. Yeah. Oh, ow. There goes my nice body. And the rule is, if you have a waterproof truck and you see mud, you gotta go through it. Yeah. Oh, I got some cleaning to do. At the skate park, the Gorgon was an absolute blast. And then in the dirt, it was a lot of fun too. But now it's time to see this truck on a brushless system. And luckily, I had a Spectrum system left over that I had taken out of my Arrma Vortex. It's not the perfect fit. It's a 3200 kV with a 100 amp speed controller. But I got it in there with a 14 tooth pinion. And I'm going to run a 3S pack on it. The only other thing you need to know when you're swapping out to a brushless system is you're going to need a receiver, possibly a radio system. But the SLR 300 receiver works with the factory radio, so that's what I put in there, and now we're gonna head out to see how it does. We're gonna go right for a speed test here, guys. We'll start up the GNSS, and I'm gonna send it down. Just nice and easy. I want the first run to be a surprise here. So I'll spin it around and roll into it. Oh, it's got power. That's top speed. It's screaming. That's awesome. Hopefully it doesn't roll over. All right, let's send it back. A little wobbly in the rear with that extra power. Okay, let's see what we got here. Stop. Of course, an airplane had to fly by it. Okay, here we go. Read 36 miles an hour. That's pretty awesome. Watch this, it has serious power now. Yeah, wheelie time. It looks like they've got brackets for a wheelie bar on the back. So hopefully that option is coming out pretty soon. Look at that. Yeah, power to pull the wheels. That means it's gonna jump farther, so let's send this thing. Whoa! Oh, man, that was a hard hit. Ouch. Oh, at least the motor didn't move this time. Jump number 2, now I know how to throttle it this time. A little easier. Just easing my way into it instead of going for the hero moves. There we go. This thing is an absolute monster now with some power behind it. Look at that. Yeah. So I think if you're going to upgrade the power system in the future on it, you're definitely going to have to do a little bit of tuning too. Add some heavier shock oil and maybe even swap out the grease and the differential to an oil since it's sealed. But man, Arrma built a seriously tough truck here. It's really cool that you could grow into it. Absolutely awesome.